Hi beautiful friends, welcome to today's video. My name is Katherine Live and I love creating content specifically for families and the ascension path for families. Conscious motherhood has been a real call for me over the last many years, but really in the last year have I started to approach that professionally. Of course, I have resources for you below for mothers. I have 2 courses for mothers that are really good. They're really, really helpful. They're really good. The reviews on them, I'm just so proud. I'm very proud of these courses. Today, I want to talk about something. I want to give a big permission slip today for mothers. Those of you who have creative projects that are really consuming you. But I do know that a lot of you tune in for me because you're at that stage of life where you are in your motherhood years and you are either tending to children or creative projects, or you're on the verge to. And here's what I want to share today. It is okay for so many reasons that I'm going to break down for you. It is okay to say no to knowing what's going on. I'm going to be the person that gives you that permission, because I don't hear this being said enough. We do hear like turn off the news or whatever, but I still believe there's a very natural urge in us as humans to want to be able to connect to world events and even local news, right? Local news has all but like completely, it's not a thing. It's all the same scripts. Have you guys seen those montages, right? Well, they will show local newscasters from multiple different cities, and they're all reading the exact same script. It's totally eerie and weird. So that is really like, oh man, well that's not even like really a thing, you know? I grew up watching the news every morning and every evening. And then I got into a habit of checking CNN multiple times a day. Then that evolved into, okay, well, those news outlets that I had been watching before aren't the ones, that I feel like I can fully trust for my most well-being, and turned away from those. But then what do? We still are hungry to know what's going on and to be informed. You could go through a season of your life where you drop all of that altogether. I've had many seasons of my life like that, almost entire years like that. Now I'm in a place where I only seek out information if it is going to directly impact the things that are high priorities in my life. That's all that we have the capacity for at this point. I know that there's some of you watching that your life looks similar to mine in the sense that you're mothering, you have a husband that you want to have like a divine partnership with. You want deep intimacy. You want the best that you can have out of it, right? And then we want to be the best mothers we can be. We're being very conscious in our mothering journey. We have food to make and to pay attention to and to budget for. And then we have, we're creating income for our families. It's so much. And then there's, creativity that needs to be tended to, and our own silence that needs to be tended to, growing food that needs to be tended to. It's so much. To have all of that, I've had to be okay with not knowing what's going on and finding out through friends who keep a beat on, events. And just owning, here's the other thing I just want to invite you along with me in this particular season of my life. Who knows, 6 months from now, the content might be very different, but in this moment, it feels important to share that we go through seasons where you can be clear with your friends and family that you're not following any news because you have so much on your plate already. And to just completely back away and back out and set down all of it. That's completely okay. That's completely okay, but it's been, an entire lifetime of getting that fix of feeling like we are connected to a collective piece of information, right? That's no longer like what we live in. I will say for myself, there was a sense of like this beautiful sense of safety and routine and rhythm that I loved so much growing up. I got to have a TV in my room, and every morning I had the Today Show on as I was getting ready for school and getting myself dressed and showering and all of that. I can hear the Today Show, right? I can hear those same exact voices every day, and I feel connected to what the rest of the city that I live in or the country that I live in, what they're tuning into. That is no longer something that we have in the same way for many good reasons, But I understand the impulse and almost the guilt that comes when you decide and you make the decision and you have to have the conversation with friends and family of, I don't engage. And here's why. I'm homeschooling, I'm working from home, I am making a lot of our food from scratch. Like and I'm trying to keep my self balanced with, really good time for silence and self-care. It can feel like in the beginning, like a conversation that feels a little bit uncomfortable, but everybody understands. Everybody understands that. A lot of people do. If they don't, then, that's on them. But most people with a decent amount of common sense, they'll understand you have a lot going on. A point I also want to make for mothers in particular, when you have little ones, or even big ones, that are still really depending on your emotional support, that when you are taking in information, it's resonating within you. Okay? It's resonating within you and right here, right? It's like in your field. So when your child comes up to you, they are picking up on that. They are absolutely picking up on their sensitivity antennas sort of go off like, what's wrong, Mom? Or what's going on? Or they like have a moment of confusion and they don't know where it came from, because there's such intense information and so many intense agendas that are rolling out, that if you're engaging with them and really giving any energy to them at all, it really does rob your family of the best version of you. And I say that with so much love. And I say that from lived experience and knowing, especially my 3-year-old, he is so sensitive, so psychic. And he doesn't know that though, right? He doesn't have the context to understand his own sensitivities yet. And so I see him get a little bit scrambled. It kind of scrambles him when I am taking on too much energy. Okay. And that can come in a lot of different ways, but this is certainly one of them. Our phone, our screens, they infuse a lot. And then while we're having this conversation, I do feel like I'll just throw in, if you aren't already shutting off your Wi-Fi at night and unplugging it on days that you're having a kitchen day or you're just not using it, to unplug it, I really highly recommend that. just try it. Just try it and see if, just give it a month, okay? Get into a good routine over a month. You might start to be able to feel when it's on and when it isn't. And if you live in an area that's super dense and you're bombarded with those EMF, signals, maybe not. But I know in my house, I'm actually beginning to develop this, I know when it's time to unplug that. And it's a really beautiful gift. It's taken me about a month. And when we first moved here, we didn't have Wi-Fi in the home for a good month and a week. So like 5 weeks. It was a really long time before we could get internet set up. So with all of that said, these energies, not only do they affect you, but they will affect your family through you. And that's just such a loving, I love you and I want the best for you. And that's just something that I've learned through my own experience. So something to try, just something to consider. And again, it's okay to say no to knowing what's going on when you're in this role as the mother and getting really focused on caretaking, visioning, restoring yourself, making sure that you're feeling a sense of rejuvenation, making sure that you're resting, that you're really, really resting. So that means, not reading what's going on. That's not resting. That's learning. And I just wanted to share that message with you today. I love you so much, and I've got lots of resources for mothers in the description box here. I would love for you guys to check that out. And I will see you in tomorrow's video.